93 Days, a short story written and narrated by Garen Patrick. There was only so many times Kevin could count the cracks on the floor of the sterile waiting room. He had tried pacing, then checking his emails, anything to occupy his mind. He eventually resorted to counting things, the ceiling tiles, the chairs, then the cracks. To say that the weight was gnawing at him would be gracious. The journey of the last 3 months had brought him and Alicia dreadfully to this soon-to-come moment. 3 years of marriage preceded the diagnosis that eventually brought Kevin to the hospital waiting room he now found himself in. The word marriage was the correct legal term for their relationship, nothing more. Their wedding day was beautiful, but the next 3 years were everything but. When Alicia saw Kevin flirting with other women during their honeymoon, she didn't know she was witnessing the epitome of what their marriage would look like from that day forward, and much worse. She never confronted him, just swallowed the pain and bottled it up. Their first year of marriage showed her what loneliness really felt like. The hopeless ache of being with the person you longed for, yet missing them, even though they never left. Together, yet so painfully alone. On the day they reached their 1-year mark, she went out and bought a puppy because she wanted something to hug on her anniversary. The downward evolution of Kevin's behavior and neglect continued in year 2. More nights when Alicia went to bed not knowing where he was, more unanswered texts and calls, more instances where she heard him refer to the unknown person on the other end of a phone call as babe, more ambiguous work conferences and weekends with the guys, less meals together, less meaningful conversations, less acknowledgement of her existence in their home. She decided to kill him with kindness, to spoil him with love she refused to accept he didn't deserve, holding out hope that at some point he might actually change. On his birthday that year, she went all out, booked the private dining room at his favorite restaurant downtown, arrived 2 hours early to decorate, hung a couple dozen little love notes on the wall, reserved the best room at one of the nicest hotels in the city. She was expecting that night to serve as a catalyst for change in their marriage story. What she wasn't expecting was for the meal to go unordered, the waiter unneeded, the notes unread, and Kevin's side of the bed in the presidential suite unoccupied. That night was a catalyst, but not in any positive way. Rather, it began the rapid decrescendo of her already injured spirit. Year 3 continued with the same trajectory, until one night when Alicia came home from a ladies' night out with her church to make a realistically unsurprising, yet still devastating discovery. As she would normally do from time to time as a last-ditch effort to hint to him that she still missed him, she planned on wearing his pajamas that night to bed. But when she opened his dresser, she found all of its contents gone. The bed was emptier that night than it was the night at the hotel. Not 2 weeks later came the text from Dr. Shepard's office that changed everything. Kevin happened to come back to the house the next day, forgot a couple things from the garage. As he was walking out, Alicia told him. He paused with his back to her for a full 5 seconds, then continued walking to his car and drove away. 2 hours later, he was back with his stuff. For the first time in their relationship, she saw him cry. He didn't just cry, he sobbed like an unattended baby. The muscular arms that had originally drawn her to him years ago and closed around her in the most suffocating yet most therapeutically comforting embrace she'd ever felt. For the first time since moving into their house, she finally felt a semblance of being home. In that moment, her stubbornly merciful heart won out against the years of frustration and pain, and even the more recently conceived feelings of despair and resentment. Kevin tried to sleep on the couch that night, said he didn't deserve to sleep on the bed, but she insisted otherwise. So he held her and stroked her back and twirled her hair until sleep finally stopped evading her. It was the first solid night's sleep she'd had in months. Dr. Shepard had warned Alicia that she would probably start developing symptoms. What even he couldn't predict was how fast her body would start to deteriorate. It started off with headaches, then the headaches got worse. Then the pain spread throughout her body, her neck, her back, her legs and arms. Then came the motor function loss. After a month, she could no longer walk. Kevin would carry her to the bathroom, to the couch, to the backyard to watch the sunrise every morning and the sunset every night. He sold his muscle car so he could buy her the most comfortable wheelchair on the market. He wheeled her around the neighborhood in the evenings to reinstitute the walk and talks they used to enjoy when they were engaged. He rolled her around the city zoo every Sunday afternoon so they could relive their first date over and over again. Despite her unknown future, Alicia seemed to enjoy every day a little more than the day before. Her body kept getting worse. Kevin had to feed her and clothe her and bathe her. She was supposed to start chemo, but she had become too weak too fast. In the middle of the third month, they were presented with an option: a surgery. The only problem was, because of the tumor's position on her spine, there was an estimated 50% chance of survival. Alicia didn't hesitate in her affirmative decision, and Kevin couldn't find it within him to argue with her. On the 93rd day of her journey, Alicia found herself being rolled into the operating room, and Kevin found himself agonizing in that lifeless waiting room. After 3 hours that felt like 10, Dr. Shepard at last walked in. Unlike his counterparts in the second chapter of the book of Luke, this Shepard had no good tidings to share. A few weeks later, Kevin started finding the strength to perform normal tasks: grocery shopping, walking the dog, checking the mail. He found a letter addressed to him in the mailbox. My Kev, I'm sure the temptation will be to beat yourself up for the rest of your life about the husband you should have been. If you love me, stop that right now. The way I see it, our marriage started 3 months ago. I refuse to acknowledge the years before that. You have given me the best 93 days of my life. I'm leaving this world on a beautiful note. Not many people get to experience that. Though I can hardly smile with my face anymore, I'm leaving here with a happy and content heart. 3 months ago, I was empty. But as I sit here tonight, struggling as I am with the last of the strength I have in my hands to get these words on paper, I've never felt more full. I both request and command you to give the next lucky lady from the beginning of your relationship with her what you gave me at the end of ours. With eternal love, your Alicia. Thanks for listening to Garen Patrick's Storyteller. I'm Garen, the writer and narrator for the short stories on this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I am a voice actor, so if you're interested in my voiceover services, feel free to reach out to me. Link to my website is in the description. Till next time, peace and God bless.